Nagas as metaphor. To really understand the true meaning of Nagas, it is vital not to take their physical descriptions too literally, as they are not actual snakes or serpents. Their spiritual form is serpentine and snake-like, but only as a metaphor for their true nature. Naga worship based on veneration of actual snakes is thus misplaced, and at this point, we have to leave our literal understanding behind. It's true to say that in the mythic cosmos, all things are flexible, and in fact, we really need to consider Nagas as interconnected archetypal characters running through global prehistoric beliefs. Although Hindu law says that Nagas are the enemies of their cousins, the Garuda, they are not really so in terms of deeper meaning. The analogy is that Garuda eats snakes, but this actually means swallowing awareness, whereby Garuda represents the act of swallowing and the snake, awareness, when humans are in the process of awakening their Kundalini energy. As celestial cousins, Garuda and Nagas thus co-participate in the same grand task. Nagas are also the form of our ancestors as DNA, RNA that is carried within the nucleus of each cell of the physical body. Thus they can both give access to the genetic code and help one mutate it. They are also the form of electromagnetic energies of the central nervous system and of the bloodstream. In airy form as dragons, they are the vital pranas flowing within the body. Nagas or dragons are also the spiral forms of the weather patterns of the atmosphere and of the gaseous clouds of the stars in space. If you can pierce through the outer layers of reality and unclothe all living beings of their physical forms and see them purely as structures of DNA, then they would all look like curled up snakes absolutely filling up the space, especially in places of unspoiled nature. These enormously long twirling, coiling strands of DNA are the codes and blueprints for every type of physical form appearing at another dimensional level, living within another reality from that which appears on the surface. Made up purely of 4 letters in numerous different combinations of sequences, all manner of creatures are created from this serpentine-shaped being of DNA. All the cells in the world contain DNA, be they animal, vegetal or bacterial, and they are all filled with salt water, in which the concentration of salt is similar to that of oceans. In this way, DNA goes together with water, just like mythical serpents do. However, Nagas are not water spirits, although they are definitely associated with water, which also symbolizes primordial wisdom. In psychoanalysis, water is associated with being the storehouse of the subconscious part of mind, so we could say that Nagas occupy or indeed are vast lakes of awareness. However, Nagas are not only associated with water, but also with dwelling deep beneath the earth, which is a symbol of the vast storehouse of energy coiled up like a snake at the base of our human torso in what is known as the Muladhara Chakra, the first on the pillar of the Kundalini energy system. Here, Naga is a symbol of the Kundalini power, cosmic energy coiled and slumbering within man. The gateway to this underworld land of Bhogavati, where the Nagas reside in a land of sensory pleasure, is the Srot Chakra, and the word itself, Bhogavati, means she who gives pleasure and wealth. Indeed, the Tantric priestesses or Shaktis were both erotic priestesses as well as Nagini, who helped teach the Tantric practitioner how to actively raise the snake-like Kundalini energy up the energy column of the tree of life. The Puranas of ancient times say that at the end of the Great Age, the Mahayuga that lasts 4,320,000 human years, the universe and all beings in it will be dissolved in a great cataclysm of fire and flood. Shiva, in his destruction, incinerates the entire material universe, but eternally preserves the subtle energy states of liberated beings in its highest realms, dimensional levels that cannot be tainted by the element of fire, while all other beings, who do not raise themselves out of the realm of form, also the subtle sense of form, are annihilated in the great flood of fire at the end of the Kalp. After this apocalypse, Vishnu rests in a state of total yogic absorption called Samadhi for a night of Brahma, an entire Kalp of 4.32 billion years, also known as Pralay. Here Vishnu's sleep is the divine model for the Samadhi of the human yogam who has withdrawn all breath, seed and consciousness, to concentrate these into a single point of pure being consciousness bliss, Sat Chit Ananda. But what happens to the external universe? The ashes from the burnt cosmos sink to the bottom of a milky sea and stay within the coiled body of Shesha Ananta, meaning that which remains. This primordial cosmic serpent was one of the very first creatures manifested by Brahma at the start of creation, who also serves as Vishnu's bed during Pralay. When Vishnu eventually awakens from his blissful slumber, Shesha renews himself using the primal essence of the previous creation, the residue of which is an endless source of raw material to regenerate new universes. For this reason, Shesha is also called Ananta, endless or infinite. Serpent Shesha as bed of Lord Vishnu. So how does one overcome this gross elemental level? In terms of Kundalini Yoga, Hindu yogis describe a serpent coiled 3.5 times around the base of the Shiva Lingam, another name for the Sushumna, a central energy conduit that passes through the 7 chakras from groin to brow. Liberation is accomplished by lifting the serpent power stored at the base of the spine up it through the higher dimensional levels of energetic resonance and into enlightened realization at the crown of the head, completely inspiring seekers to overcome misdeeds and suffering. Interestingly, Hindu iconography for the root chakra depicts the elephant Airavata amidst the 4 broad petals or vibratory fields associated with this energy consciousness center. Thus, in Hindu cosmology, a macro and microcosmic serpent serves as a conduit, a bridge between existence and non-existence, and is the basis of yogic systems. Here, the macro being the coiled serpent Shesha that not only contains the entire universe, but he who also serves as the couch of the sleeping god, Vishnu at times when the universe is non-existent, and the micro being a serpent-like coil of energy situated at the base of the subtle body within human beings, called Kundalini, containing the primal essence of the universe. Buridatta Jatak tells the story of a Naga king, Buridatta. On a few occasions Nagas do invite righteous humans to visit them and enjoy all the 5 strands of sense pleasure there. In this particular story, there is a thieving rascal who manages to fool the Naga king into thinking him a saintly person. He goes to the Naga world and is installed in a palace, but after a year is unable to enjoy it. As a result of the poverty of his merit, his perception changes and he now perceives the Naga maidens as fearsome ogres and the crystal palace as a dreaded prison. Thus the Naga realm also represents perception of consciousness perceiving reality according to one's merit, spiraling around to come back to the same point, but in a variety of dimensions, grosser or more refined depending on its energetic quality of being. Indeed, dragon lines or ley lines are symbolic for the consciousness of the planetary being Earth, her invisible neural pathways carrying her thinking, her perception and her power. In order to connect with this huge being existing at a different level of consciousness to us humans, who incorporates masses of organic creatures and stratas of inanimate rock and metals to make up her whole, we must first tap into her force that forms a web across the earth in numerous pathways, decoded for us by our ancestors by markers on the ground. Just as described in the Mayan legend of the road to Xibalba, by passing through the mouth of a huge snake into external like coils, We can connect dimension to dimension through the act of refining consciousness, eventually merging step by step with superior layers of consciousness that are greater than our own and beyond that to our sense of being a universal or galactic consciousness that can perceive the realm of existence in its greater sense. To achieve greater levels of consciousness within, we tap into diverse realms, without which are only mirrored forms of our own structure of consciousness. As we refine consciousness, so are we able to perceive more refined levels of appearance, i.e., it actually manifests within the space around our physical body, making it possible to be able to tap into. What is really happening here, however, is that we are tapping into the greatest resource of consciousness within, the hidden treasure of our energy system, more and more refined and beautiful upon each next coiling layer of the dragon's spiral that eventually leads to the most refined level of consciousness of all, supreme enlightenment and knowledge, an all-pervasive view of existence that can perceive everything, everywhere, simultaneously.